It's the Morning Hustle with L'Oreal, Kyle Santillian, and again, man, we love it. Guest stopping by the studio to holler at us on the Morning Hustle.
Yes.
I mean, this guy right here, the career is impeccable. You know, the reputation is intact. You know what I'm saying? He's an artist. He's a hustler. He's an author now. And he's here to talk to us all about the book, Adversity for Sale. Y'all gotta believe. We gotta give it up for Jeezy in the
What up,
studio.
though? What up, though? Top of the top, baby. Top
Peace,
of the
bro.
top.
How you feeling?
We got to say
Man.
welcome to the trap.
Yeah, I
This the
believe
trap
in
for
that.
us.
It works for me.
What it do? What the business is?
It works for me. Top of the top, baby.
This is a big deal, man.
Yeah.
is
It's
a
a long
big
time
deal.
coming. A long time coming.
Yeah. One thing about me is I'm not going to say I do a whole lot of reading,
Right.
but the reading that I love is autobiographies.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So this falls right into my wheelhouse. You know, I've
Yeah.
read, people like Russell Simmons,
Yeah.
Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Quincy Jones. You know what I mean? So when I read your book and it gives me those same feelings, man, I love hearing about what made the person into the person that we know today.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And
right.
this book is like that. Is that guide to who
Yeah.
Jeezy is. Yes?
Yeah, and the reason why I named it Adversity for Sale, because I think when people see the finished product, they don't realize what you went through. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? And how many times. Because people are always trying to sell you like success. If you want to win, you know, and it's, but no.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, it was more so like, I don't even think that people understood when I was winning, I was losing.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying? And I just wanted to make sure that I got that message out there because I don't ran into so many cats that's out here in the streets is getting out or trying to figure their life out or make a change for their family or whatever it is. They just feel like the whole world is, they're against the world.
Yeah.
And you're really competing with yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
for sure.
saying? And I just wanted to really put that in book form. And the real title is the You Gotta Believe part.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I was going through these things, if I didn't believe, nothing else really mattered.
I feel that.
You know
I
what I'm
learned
saying?
so much about you from
feel
this
that.
book, and even though I've been a fan since day one, it's crazy. And I do like the audible version of the
Yeah,
book, and I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you why. Because in the middle of it, I start busting out in song with you.
Yeah.
So we rapping
Yeah.
together.
So just so y'all know, I did the audio version myself. So everywhere books are sold, Audibles,
I love it.
Amazon is me. I read it for you.
Yeah, you at any given time, he
Right.
started. You like last time
And
I
I
checked, I was
yeah.
a man in these
Yeah.
streets.
Yeah.
But I also figured out that you were a thief
Yeah.
early on.
A pretty good one too.
A pretty good one.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
hilarious.
good one
couldn't
too.
believe it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jeezy, you was out here stealing from a young age.
Yeah, but you know what it was? I was just ambitious. Like I wanted stuff, right? And I couldn't afford it. But I figured if I got away with it, that was success.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I thought I was doing something good, right? And then I learned that, as I started to get some morals and values, like, oh, you don't really take from people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to, right? And that's like low vibrations right there. You know what I'm saying?
Family taught you that message.
Oh yeah.
I love that. Family taught you a lot of messages.
Yeah.
And there's some laugh out loud moments. I ain't gonna give it away, but the round kick had me
Oh yeah.
literally
yeah.
crying.
I don't know where he learned karate from. But
That's how he learned his lesson not to steal. Let's just put it out there like
they
that.
was like, how you remember that? I said, how could I forget?
so they saw the part of the book. Your cousin saw that part.
it's
It was
like, it's like, yo, how you remember that? I was like, man, that's probably one of the most embarrassing days of my life.
right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about this because you have been making your rounds promoting the book, right?
Yes, sir.
And there's a clip that's been floating around on social media where you were talking about how, and you talk about it in the book, yo, I was out here, I was disciplined with my money, I made it happen, I was eating at Subway, $1.99 a meal, every day for like 2 years.
Right.
And people just don't believe you.
Right.
Like, they don't believe you. I screenshot
Which-
some of the responses.
Which is crazy.
$2, you definitely telling a lie. You just want to make it sound good. What do you say when people don't believe it? Like, how does it
gotta
work?
believe.
You gotta believe, right?
What my grandma used to tell me, like, ignorance, you got to just let it be what it is.
Yeah.
Because you're missing the whole message. The message was discipline.
Yeah.
And at a young age, I had that. And yes, I was a drug dealer at the time.
Right.
But I wasn't making that type of money.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So this is my first taste of financial literacy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm disciplining myself. I'm not buying Air Jordans or doing what people are doing around me. I'm like, okay, I gotta save this, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the first real money I spent after I saved was $3,500 to buy my mother a trailer that's probably big as this studio, just this room, a single wide. But the crazy thing about our culture and our people is like when you try to give them game, they always trying to find the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, I ain't the one to lie to you. By the way, I'm all the way up. Like, I don't got the time to have the time, but I'm glad that you asked me that because, you know, one thing I learned at a young age when I sat around the older guys is I didn't go in there with I went in there with an open mind. If somebody tells me how they done something, I'm going to look into that in a way that, okay, let me see how that worked for them.
Right.
I'm not going to try to, you know, figure out, you know, where the flaw is at.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's how I was able to learn. So when I went around the guys that were my age, I knew more than them. That's why they followed me.
Mm-hmm. And just to put a little cherry on top, you said
and by the way,
that was all the money you spent, but
could
you
you
still
send me
ate at
that
home.
though? Could you send me that?
Commercial.
I need that.
I got you, bro.
I need
that. Jeezy in it.
I'm putting that on my. By the way, Subway, holla at your boy. We can work something out.
That's
I'm about to put that on my IG.
I got you.
I don't think it's gonna be $1.99
just so we
anymore.
clear. Just so we clear. And by the way, just to put the cherry on top too, like, you know, I lived in a small town. You talking about a population of 2,400 people. You know, I mean, everybody had factory jobs, so the cost of living was not high at all.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So there's that. But what was you saying about?
I was just saying, you just to even clarify further, you said that's all the money that you spent,
right?
But you would eat your other meals at home.
For sure.
Yeah.
So people are like, there's no way he could eat one time a day for 3 years straight.
Right.
Like, no, what he said was this all the money I spent.
Right.
The other meals I would eat at home.
You talking about people that are looking at a clip online versus buying the book and reading it.
Right.
So I also
But when
wanna,
you read the book, you understood what I was trying to
understood
say.
it, and also I understand that it's a different time. You're also these people that are on the internet a little younger. They remember $5 foot long.
Right.
So that's why they don't understand. You get what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's what it's like. Some of them say that Biggie, who's Biggie and Pac? They don't even know a song, so you can't even reason with these kind of people.
I don't even know if I can talk to somebody who don't know who Biggie and Pac is.
Some of them don't.
It would confuse me.
Some of them don't. You get what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But you put a lot of game in this book. Not only did you make it clear that I was shocked because there was plenty of times that I know I've seen you out and about, especially like during or right before the Trap or Die days when you did have a lot of people surrounding you and a big following. And I would have thought Jeezy is one of the richest people in Atlanta, and you was still going through things and still, you know, getting your money together because you was investing and putting everything into yourself.
Well, the thing about it is I didn't understand that I was investing, but I believed in what I was doing, right? And of course, you know, the whole purpose of the book is you have to see all the turmoil that's going on while I'm trying to figure this out, right? And when you got Trap or Die success, you know, people like, that's all I need. I can go from there. But that ain't the truth because I wasn't even an artist then. I was still trying to figure it out, right? But I got this little success. Now I have to get in and write an album. But I got to write this album with all this turmoil going on around me. Now, 9 times out of 10, any artist that you respect and love that wrote you all these platinum records, they're not going through none of this.
Right.
They going to the studio. They got the dim lights, the candles. You know what I mean? It's sexy in there because they're artists.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist. I'm a guy that's in the streets that's trying to figure my way out into something that I understand because music basically raised me. Right. And that's why I get so much homage to Pac because he was my therapist. He was the guy that I listened to get information so that when I was dealing with things, I can go, okay, well, what would Pac do? Right? Sure. And that's how I was going about it. So I'm trying to give that same thing back while going through the same thing. And I can only imagine what he was going through.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like you just hear the records. You know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the themes that you continuously come back to in the book is your mental health. You talk about dealing with anxiety just from being paranoid, being in the streets. And there was one moment where you even talked about when you were going through the program to try to, you know, stay out of jail.
You challenged.
You're standing on the edge of the ship considering
jumping off. Yeah.
Most people wouldn't think someone like Jeezy, who has so much success, would have those kind of thoughts.
Well, no, I didn't have any success then. You know, I was 17.
Well, success now, but I'm saying.
Yeah, but 17 years old, my first time really getting took out of the hood besides my early childhood. So when I went to that program, you know, I was in it. So this is the first time I've been removed. Now I'm around other people with real problems, and I'm listening to it. This guy was on crack. This guy this guy that, this guy, you know, and you just sitting there and you going like, I'm doomed. Like, even if I get out, I don't want to go to jail or get killed. So I might as well just, you know, I don't want to leave. You ever seen somebody that's incarcerated and they've been there for 20 years, and they get ready to open up the gate, and they like, man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You're scared to leave.
I'm second thinking about what I'm walking back into, and I've got comfortable with being somewhere where I feel safe.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Where I feel like I have discipline, and I'm working out, like, because I'm doing PT and I'm getting life skills, and I got my GED. This is my first taste of, man, you're gonna be somebody.
Right.
And then you got to go back out here. You ain't got no skill set. You ain't got no job. You ain't got nobody waiting on the outside. Like, I'm gonna put you in this position. So you scared to death.
Yeah.
Right. And
Sure.
that was a moment of clarity for me, because, you know, when you hear about people, you know, suicide, you know, and just like they say, you know, it's like a long-term, you know, decision for something this minor,
Yeah.
right? And I had to make a decision then and there, because in my mind, I really felt like my life was over,
Yeah.
right? And that's why I put it in the book. So you say somebody like myself, I want people to know I felt like that too, bro.
Yeah.
So even if you're going through that, just know that I've been there with you, dog. Like, I get it. You feel what I'm saying? So don't think because you see me moving around that I ain't never had no bad days. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that people really think when they look at you that everything is all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, you even have Shakira Stewart, who obviously was very instrumental in your career and very close friend. And you talked about even him when he had the chains and this and that, and people would look at that and be like, "Oh, he has a perfect life. He's hanging out with Jeezy. He's a top executive, but he took his life as well."
Yeah, and to me, that was the first time I ever really. Of course, I had those thoughts, and I didn't know what those thoughts were, but I just remember getting that call and just not understanding that, because you're talking about somebody who was so charismatic, so at the top of his game. Everybody loved him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, how could he be going through that? And the real part where I want people to see is sometimes you gotta be strong. Sometimes you gotta check on your strong friends too.
That's they the one.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was more, you know, upset that I didn't see the signs.
Right.
Right? This is somebody I'm with daily. And by the way, this is somebody who changed my life. He saved my life. He took me in Def Jam. He walked me in the door, got me my deal. Right? And he and this is my mentor at the time, because he's the one I'm confining in, because I'm not even an artist. So I'm asking him, okay, what do I do in this situation? Okay, he's picking my records out. He's telling me that Soul Survivor is the one. I'm like, no, Trap or Die is going to be the biggest thing ever. He like, bro, Soul Survivor.
And he was right.
He was right. And I remember vividly when he came to my house and I played him Go Getter. And I had Lil Will on the hook. And he said, hey, bro, I know you love this guy, but give me the song and I'm going to put somebody else on it. And I sat there and fought him for an hour. And I told him, I said, I'm going to give you this record, bro, but I'm keeping my guy on the song. And when he came back to my house and I heard that Young Jeezy and your boy Kiss, like, he went and got R. Kelly on my record.
You was like, wait, what's my friend name again?
He
have an ad lib.
We're going to give him another job.
but he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And again, he was so detrimental in my career. Like, he was the one person that made me understand that if it was street, if it was radio, and if it was club, that was my single.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was under the impression, I was coming out of mixtape era. If I heard Trapper Down the Streets, I thought I was winning.
Right.
I didn't even understand what radio was. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know.
And I loved how you pay homage to other artists as well by saying, like, yeah, I seen 50 do it with Who Kid, so me and Drama could do it. You shouted out Trick Daddy, who I didn't even realize was such a big influence to you.
Yeah, I love Trick.
And do y'all have something more in common? Jeezy, are you Haitian?
No, see
I
what
keep
it is.
seeing that
Yeah,
places.
no, what it is you know, I hung around in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Well, you know, I was hustling in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I was with a lot of, you know, Haitian, Jamaican, and so I took on that whole, you know, the food, the people.
You adapted that accent like Drake.
No, I definitely don't have the accent. My accent is so Georgia. It ain't
Yeah,
funny.
that's a fact.
You
That's
feel
a
me?
fact.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you're not okay,
No.
because even if you search, and I was like, nah, I never heard you
Yeah.
say you was Haitian.
But you best believe at one point in my life I thought I was.
Yeah. So it was the
I was
influence
definitely
to a
down with the
trick.
Zoes. Oh
Yeah,
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 for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
L'Oreal just brought up DJ Drama. I thought that was an interesting moment in the book too, where you talk about meeting Drama for the first time.
Right.
And it's funny because when you're talking about your journey and everything that takes place for you in Georgia, and then you meet DJ Drama, and the way you depict DJ Drama when you first meet him in terms of how he is in hip hop,
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's me.
Oh, word.
It's kind of like two
You
separate
you making
worlds.
people take their $300 shoes off of your door. When you live in the hood, I'm like, yo, I go to the hood
That's
to
not
his
what I mean.
house. He made me take my $300 shoes. I'm like, man, I live in Buckhead, man.
The house is $300.
What are we doing?
That's not the part I mean, but I'm
Okay.
talking about the part where you're coming from the streets as a hustler,
Yeah.
coming into the music game, and
Right.
you looked at Drama like, oh, this guy is really, he's the DJ.
Right.
He's into the artistic aspect of the music
Right.
that you didn't necessarily, I wasn't your lane.
Well, what it was I was over somebody's house, you know what I'm saying, and at the time, and you know, doing my thug thing, and it was playing this tape that him and Tip did.
Yeah.
And I heard the tape from top to bottom. I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I heard his voice and everything. And when Tip and Drama was moving, they had so much synergy, and you just saw where it was going, right? And I just remember being like, man, I wanna do a tape with him. So what I did, because I sent my guy to see if we could do a tape. He was like, nah. So what I did was I started paying him to do my show tapes, $100 to do my show dats or whatever. And that's how I got in, right? And once I got in, then I started asking him to do the tape.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, I don't think we're ready. I'll do a song or whatever. And, you know, it just, one day we just had a real conversation, and I was like, yo, I'm going to pay you. He like, what? You know what I'm saying? He had never been paid for a tape before.
Right.
So I paid him to do the tape. Not that it was about the money, but he saw that I was serious. And once I got the tape back and heard what he did to the music, you know, and that's how I gauge. If I give somebody something, whether it's a mixer or whatever, if it comes back better than I sent it, I know that that's it. And it came back like his sequence and everything. Like this was like my first real project, right? And his sequence and what he was saying, it was just like, I was like, I think this is it.
Right.
So I immediately went up and pressed up 100,000 CDs, and they was doing what's it called, birthday bash.
Yep.
And I went out there.
All right.
Let's go, birthday bash.
I went to birthday bash, and I had my team out there. We was passing out CDs at the gate, in the parking lot, inside the venue, and my life changed forever after that day.
And what I was getting at in terms of the DJ Drama thing, which is also a reoccurring theme in the book, was you identifying opportunities and stepping into them rather than waiting for something to fall into your lap.
Right.
And that was one of those examples that you just mentioned.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And they didn't understand why I was giving it away. You know what I'm saying? But me, at that time, I just really wanted to be heard because I didn't know what my future was going to be. So that's why when you hear those records, there's so much urgency in that and Trap or Die, because you know, in the meantime, I'm just hoping I don't get picked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, at least if I can put this out, I'll be heard.
For sure.
And when I came back and did Trap or Die, it was so much urgency there that I started to see the momentum that I was getting. And then that's when I shot the DVD, edited the DVD and put the DVD with it.
Yeah.
DVD did,
Right, the
Yeah.
the DVD took it over the top.
Right.
I would literally walk into like my partner's trap houses, and they would be watching it on the screen like that. And I'd be like, y'all know me, why y'all watching?
Because it was lit.
Right.
But it was the gift and the curse too, because I feel like with you, it made you the biggest. But at the same time, it didn't make you all the money. A lot of other people were making money off of the moves you were doing.
Yeah.
Because it would be called what we say now, nigga business.
Yeah.
Like you wasn't doing contracts, deals with people. You was just thinking, all right, I'm solid, so they're gonna be solid too.
Right. That was the blessing. I was giving back. I was pouring in and leaning into people.
Yeah.
Even with the snowman shirts, people were making money off of that. But I didn't want the money. I just wanted the freedom, right, and the opportunity to be in a legitimate position so I can get my mom a house. You know, I can get my house in my own name because I'm living in somebody else's house. Basically, they can come in tomorrow and kick me out, right? You know what I mean? So it was like
them shirts was like crack.
Right.
Let me tell you what I had to go through to get mine. Nothing nasty.
right.
but I know the official one with the glitter.
But the thing is, between the bootleggers who were bootlegging
Yeah, they was
everything,
ODing.
even my first album, they was bootlegging. Even the T-shirts, that's what blew it up.
Yeah,
That was the marketing. You know what I'm saying? People making money off of what I was doing.
Yep.
So they was basically promoting for me. And when I understood that, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't, and it's never been about the money with me. Okay, of course I'm a hustler. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing it for a certain dollar amount or whatever. So when I would see these T-shirts, I would just feel like I was being supported.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? I wasn't
Absolutely.
looking at it like I could have made $15 off that. You know what I'm saying? I'm
But
like,
you also showed the support because I didn't even know Ashana had something to do with
you
that.
know Ashana?
Yeah, I know
Oh, yeah,
her very well. I love her.
That's my sister, yeah.
And now what? She's managing Mary J. Blige. So just imagine, like, at that point in time, she wasn't.
She was young.
She was young.
She
and
was young.
You gave her the credit for helping you with that as well.
No, she did. And she, again, between her and Shakir, that was my, and Sean Pekos,
Oh, that's
that was
my brother.
That was my support system at Def Jam. They had me. And I just remember being in marketing meetings with Ashana, and we just had this synergy when it came to planning how I was moving.
Yeah.
And she just saw it. You know,
Fire.
she amplified everything I thought of, and she was sitting right there, and I had the snowman chain on.
Yeah.
She's like, let's use that.
Can we bring the shirts back though, like the original
Limited
ones
edition?
with the glitter?
Yeah,
like, 'cause I need
no,
mine.
I'm gonna tell you, those are illegal in 50 states. You can't.
Are they really?
50
Look, I believe you. Kinda.
You can't get one in North Dakota.
Right. And the craziest thing was, like, all this is going on, and I'm getting this, you know, this success. And here again, you know, that's what that adversity is about. I'm getting the success, and all of a sudden CNN is banning the shirts. Well, they're
I
saying
didn't
people are
realize
banning
that.
shirts from
Yeah.
school.
I
Yeah.
kind of remember that.
Yeah, so how you
Yeah.
gonna tell
Just a
people,
snowman.
right?
But let
they
me ask you
can't
this,
wear-
but
So
do you-
Frosty is cool.
Right, but Jeezy
big
not-
snow is a
but-
problem.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Now that you're the more mature Jeezy,
Right.
do you understand that though? Because I could totally understand, like, yo,
No,
because
because
the
Me
snowman.
neither.
Let's be real. The snowman represents drugs, right?
not
Oh,
really.
Kyle, don't be boring.
No, I'm just asking an
Oh,
honest.
come on, get
Can
him
I
out
ask
of
an
here.
honest question? An honest question.
Okay, but let me
As
say-
a mature Jeezy, could
Right.
you understand? Hey, we don't want our kids walking around with the snowman.
If he had
shirt on.
crack in his hand.
I can see that. If I had an AK-47 in my hand, I can see that.
Right.
But even when you think about the Rubber Band Man, you know what I'm saying? You think about Ice Cream Man. You think about all these things. These are things we just coin us. And this is another marketing 101. What I understood about Pac, when he was saying thug life, it wasn't in a negative, it wasn't negative. It was, we're standing for something. We're soldiers. We have beliefs. We have values.
Right.
So Snowman was the ultimate hustler. He was the guy that was going to figure it out. And once I started seeing people wearing the shirts, I realized that it was bigger than me,
Yeah.
right? And now you have another cultural leader stepping in the game, and I got sense. So if you want to be honest, I think like they was trying to quiet me
Okay.
because at some point
I'm sure there was some of that too.
I'm gonna start giving the game back like I'm giving in this book.
Yeah.
Cause it ain't cause you can tell I ain't one of them. And how I know that to be true, I promise you, Farrakhan called me one day and he said, "Brother Jeezy, your message is changing. You gotta watch out for the enemy."
I like that.
I said, "Farrakhan, I'm living in Malibu and my enemies are in the hood. I'm not worried about them." And I swear to you, 2 weeks later, I was in jail. I got locked up on tour with Wiz Khalifa. They tried to charge me with murder. You know what I'm saying? I had 10 people with me, so that's $10 million in bail.
Wow.
And now I got to sit in the county jail so I can get all these people out because they're not criminals. This is my staff,
Yeah.
right? And the moment I got out, the phone rang, and it was Farrakhan.
Again.
Wow.
Brother Jeezy.
I told your
I
ass.
tried to tell you the enemy was coming.
I love Farrakhan.
And I was just like, yo. And when I went out there and sat with him, he made me understand the power of what I'm saying, bro. Like, cause that's what y'all gotta realize, bro. This shit is power. This ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Like these are our people, bro.
For sure.
And how I knew that shit was real, I'm sitting down and I'm doing this video with E40, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing this video, and you know, they talking. Like we talking in this room, and I see everybody start to walk out. You know what I'm saying? And now we sitting, it was like a gambling scene. So we sitting there, it's like poker chips and all that. And it's E40 and Snoop. And everybody gets out of the room and get quiet. And they both lean in. you know who you are? You know what you stand for out here? Because I was going through it. I was backing up. And it got so real. I remember I'm in a party in L.A. The party is cracking. And Rihanna pulled me to the side, say, hey, bro, what you scared of? Go be that guy. Go do that.
Right.
That's got to be empowering.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Come on. That's when I wrote The Recession. Right after that. Yeah, she told me straight up. She's like, bro, we love you, man. You got to go do this for us.
That's fire.
You know, Rihanna tell you some shit like that.
Yeah, you got to go do it, whatever it is. You got to go
turn
do
up.
For Barbados.
You got to go turn up.
Yes is the answer.
But you've also had falling outs with people
Right.
like Coach K, right?
Right.
And then I was at the Atlanta Symphony the other day,
Right.
and he actually brought you out. You had him bring you
Yep.
out.
Yep.
And it's also moments like that where you have differences for quite some time, and then people could sit down.
Yeah,
and
I think
talk
we
it
all
out.
matured. Like, you know, and I would have been. I'm for one, like I'm solid through and through, right? And I do have morals and values, and I know as much work as Coach K put into Thug Motivation to see our baby graduate
Yeah.
and go to college
Yeah.
would have been beneath me not to extend that olive branch. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's our baby. That changed our lives. And we both worked on that album through and through. And we went through things. Like, Coach was the one that took me to the hospital when I tore my vocal cords. He's the one that sat with me through surgery. He was the one bailing me out of jail when I was getting locked up. He was the one, you know, holding my money when I was still trying to figure it out. So, and he knew my heart. So that, to see our baby grow, because you got to think, like, TM 101 with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra.
It was fire.
Right, crazy.
That's a graduation.
I wish I
Right.
had
Both-
video to
both-
show for it, but
both
Jeezy
parent-
took my phone.
both parents have to be there.
Right.
This is our baby.
Yeah.
But you know, family's family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have ups and downs with people. You know what I'm saying? But for me, you know, again, I'm just on my path. I'm just explaining things in the book that changed the course of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Things that was significant to me. If you know what I mean, like
Sure.
certain things happen, you just like, damn.
Set you
wow.
on a certain path.
Yeah, and then also it gives you understanding, because for me it's like grace. You know what I'm saying? I held a lot of resentment towards a lot of shit, but that only, you know, that's like trying to poison your enemy, but poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yes,
like,
sir.
it's just like,
Yes, sir.
what I'm gonna do that for? You know what I mean? So for me, you know, I just handle it with grace, man. Like, you know, I'm blessed,
Yeah.
highly favored. You know, I got other things to worry about.
I hear that.
Now-
I got a culture to lead. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like
Yeah.
the Bible, the book
Yeah.
of Jeezy.
Yes.
What would Jeezy do? I
Yeah.
like that.
Jeezy
And,
do.
and Kanye.
Sure.
And Kanye tried to steal your whole swag for 808s
I
and
ain't gonna
Heartbreak.
say he stole it. I ain't gonna say he stole it.
He borrowed it and then asked you to help him
I
with
wouldn't say that.
To answer your question, it's chapter 9.
Okay, there it
Chapter
is.
9, for
There it is. The book is out everywhere books are sold.
it. Yes.
Adversity for sale.
Yes.
You gotta believe.
Yep.
The audio book is out. And I read it myself.
I love that.
Aight,
How
that's
long
what's
did that
up.
take you?
Well, you know, it didn't really take long, but again, it was very therapeutic, because a lot of times that I would like get into a rhythm. Like when I got to the chapter about Shake, you know, I had to kind of
Yeah.
fall back for a minute and just get because you have to act out how you feeling. Like, you're not
Yeah.
just reading to yourself. You know, you're reading out loud. And it was moments like that where I just had to kind of just take a break and really get my thoughts together.
Yeah.
You know what
We
I'm
want
saying?
everybody to check it out,
Yeah.
man. We want everybody to read it, listen
Yep,
to it,
yep,
absorb
yep.
it, learn
Adversity
from it.
for sale.
You know what I mean? Experience
Will
it,
we
man.
get a
Yeah.
part 2?
Absolutely. I got a lot more life to live. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying?
got a whole lot that I want to
Yeah.
know too. Like you're missing in there, Jeezy.
Yeah, you
Part 2.
clearly. Clearly.
Yay!
We appreciate you,
did
man.
it,
Jeezy,
I
on the
appreciate
Hustle
y'all,
this
too.
morning. We appreciate
Love,
y'all,
baby.
man. That's what it is.
Thank you, guys.
We are the morning hustle.